Mayong gabi kanatong tanan. Welcome to another episode of the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association's Partners in Law. Mag-uban na sad kita sa laing usa ka oras nga diskurso kabahin sa balaod ug mga isyu sa katilingban nga angay natong hibaw-an. Ako si Atty. Christie Alga ug kauban akong co-host for tonight.
Mayong gabi, ako si Atty. Kimberly and karong gabi magstorya kita bahin sa importanteng butang na kinahanglan gyud nato labi na sa mga drivers, vehicle owners and the public in general. So mao nga ang atong bisita karon, he flew all the way from Manila. He is the officer in charge of the Regulation Enforcement and Prosecution Division of the Philippine Insurance Commission. He graduated in the San Beda College with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, major in Business Management and Entrepreneurship. Then he proceeded to get a Bachelor of Science degree in Law in the San Beda College of Law and in the San Sebastian College of Law. He took the bar exam in 2007 and he was admitted the year after. After that, he ventured in private practice before he served in the Philippine Insurance Commission. So, ako ipaila-ila sa inyo ha, si Attorney Brian Gale Sibuyan. Welcome, Attorney.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening sa mga televiewers natin. Good evening, Attorney Kim. Good morning, Attorney Christie.
Good evening.
Good evening,
evening.
Attorney Brian. So, alam naman natin na very important yung mga sasakyan sa buhay natin, right?
Yes.
Kaya kailangan natin ang protection sa ating mga sasakyan pero bago yan, pag-usapan muna natin ang insurance in general. So, dahil nasa Insurance Commission po kayo, alam namin kayo yung expert kumbaga sa insurance. So, ano po ang insurance?
Basically, a contract of insurance is an agreement between two parties whereby one party undertakes for a consideration to indemnify another against loss, damages, or liability arising from an unknown or contingent event.
So in other words, attorney, ito po yung like protection from financial loss if ever may damage yung vehicle.
In some sort, it could be protection in a financial way, but rather it's more on the indemnity that the insurer will cover for the insured in case the motor vehicle the insured is operating causes damage to a third party by death or bodily injury, or causes property damage to another third party, or a loss or damage insofar as the motor vehicle which is insured.
But, so, bago muna tayo pumunta sa motor vehicle insurance, pag-usapan muna natin yung types, general classification of insurance. So, we have...
Okay. Basically, the insurance contracts are generally classified into two, which are the life insurance and the non-life insurance. Those falling under the life insurance are the yearly renewable term, ordinary life insurance, term life insurance. They also have the life and health insurance. And nowadays, they also have what they call the VUL product, a life insurance product with a variable unit link. It's a insurance and an investment product as well. But generally, the main product is the insurance itself. Whereas insofar as the non-life products are concerned, we have the casualty and health insurance, we have the property insurance, which we have the fire insurance under the property insurance. We have the engineering insurance, the surety ship, we have the marine insurance, and with the topic that we'll be having now, which is the motor insurance.
And so, since that is our topic for tonight. Ano po yung concept ng motor vehicle insurance? If you can tell the viewers.
Basically, the distinguishing characteristics which a motor vehicle insurance are that we have to observe the principle of good faith for both parties. There is the principle of subrogation.
Yes.
So we also have the principle of contribution, proximate cause, the indemnity and insurable interest. Those are the characteristics which basically make it as an insurance contract, which is also applicable to a motor insurance.
So sa motor insurance, so those are the ano po tawag ulit?
Principles.
Principle. So pwedeng isa-isahin po natin.
Okay.
So the first is the principle of subrogation.
Okay. Insofar as subrogation is concerned, whenever the insured suffers a loss or incurs liability or suffers damages, and whenever the insurer compensates the claim or whatever damages or liabilities that the insured incurred, basically what under the civil code we have this principle of subrogation. So whatever rights that the insured has, and after payment of the claim, the insurer now steps into the shoes of the insured. That way, the whatever causes of action the insured has will now be exercised by the insurer.
The insurer. Okay, so in simple terms po, yung insurer, siya yung insurance company.
Yes.
And then the insured is the person na
Kumuha ng
ng insurance.
Yes.
And then there's a third party na to whom the insured might
Have caused damage.
Or might have caused damage to the insured.
Yes.
So bisayon na to, Kim, ha?
Sige.
So naay tulo ka parties sa insurance. Ang insurer mao na siya ang insurance company nga naghatag sa insurance. Then ang insured mao na siya ang person nga nikuha sa insurance. So siya ang protected. And then naay third party nga ang third party siya mo'y posible nga nakasa sa insured or siya mo'y nasadaan sa insured. So ang mahitabo sa principle of subrogation, ang insurer most step siya mo'y mobayad, Silby, ang insurer, diba? Ang insurance company mo'y mobayad para sa insured. Dayon siya na ang mupuli siya sa insured. Diba?
ana. So murag si insurer may mahimong in a sense na murag mahimo na siya insured nga makakuha na siya murag if ever na cause of action ng insured siya na mo claim ana against the katong third party if ever. Ana.
Sige. So another principle sa insurance, Attorney Brian, kay ang katong good faith.
Yes.
So what is this
So
about?
basically, the insured should disclose all material facts that the insurer need to know in order for the latter to assess or accept the insurance which the insured is applying for. Kasi basically, kailangan niyang malaman lahat para ma-determine ni insurer kung hanggang saan yung pwede niyang i-cover insofar as the insured is concerned or totally hindi niya i-cover. Kasi malaking bagay yung mga details na ibibigay ng ating insured para yung kung ano man yung kaukulang protection na dapat ibigay ng insurer, may ibigay niya as coverage.
At saka yung premiums din. Para
Yes, kasi may corresponding premium din yan.
Yes.
Which is basically the premium is the consideration paid for the protection that the insured will have from the insurer.
Yes.
Correct. So, another principle sa insurance, attorney?
Which is the proximate cost.
Oo.
Basically, in basic terms, the proximate cost is basically the cause of the evil cost. Basically, yan yung dahilan kung bakit nagkaroon ng either liability or damage on the part of the insured, without which the liability won't attach insofar as the insured is concerned.
Let's go back na to motor vehicle insurance. So, marami pong types of motor vehicle insurance. So, ano-ano po ito?
So basically, we have a private car motor insurance policy. We have the commercial vehicle policy. We have the motor trade policy. We have the land transport operators policy, and we have the motorcycle policy.
Motorcycle policy. So, marami-rami po talaga yung yung coverage of motor insurance. Pero ano po yung similarities sa
Basically, it's just a nomenclature on these several types of motor policies. They all basically have the same coverage, almost the same terms and conditions. But insofar as the private car motor insurance policy is concerned, it has this clause wherein the name of the clause is the driving other car provision. Ang concept na ito is, let's say, ikaw may sasakyan ka and may CTPL policy ka, which is basically the Comprehensive Third-Party Liability Insurance. Pag nag-drive ka ng ibang sasakyan at pag walang CTPL coverage yon, as long as may CTPL policy ka issued under your name, that policy would answer for whatever damage or liability that may arise from your operation of that particular vehicle.
Wow. So even if it's not your vehicle, as long as you yourself is insured with the insurance
As long
company
as
of
you have
CTPL,
yes.
it can cover your
Yes.
Since we're talking about comprehensive third-party liability insurance, attorney, I heard that that's under the law, it's mandatory for vehicle owners to have that insurance before they could register their cars or renew their cars. Is that true, attorney?
Yes, ma'am. Because we have the requirement under the insurance code of the Philippines, which is now the Republic Act 10607, which mandates that all vehicles subject for registration must secure a motor vehicle liability insurance. Basically, that's the reason why it's called CTPL, because it's compulsory in nature.
But it only covers, attorney, di ba, yung damage, bodily injury or death of the one you caused damage to. Hindi yun covered yung damage sa car or damage to your own car.
Yes, ma'am.
So may narinig din ako may policy na comprehensive policy. So ano po yung comprehensive policy?
Okay. So basically, the comprehensive policy is policy that covers it has more cover, or it protects
So
more
comprehensive.
risks as compared to
covers
the
more
CTPL policy, because CTPL policy only covers death or bodily injury to third party, and then the section 2 thereof is the no fault indemnity clause. Whereas insofar as the comprehensive policy is concerned, they have the loss or damage under section 3 of a standard motor insurance policy, and section 4, which is the extended third party liability, bodily injury, and extended third party property damage.
Okay. So, before nato i-continue ang discussion, before po natin i-continue yung discussion natin, let's give time for our sponsors. Please tune in. welcome back to Partners in Law. Thank you for staying with us. So, ang last atong gisgutan, Kim and Attorney Brian, kay ang two types of motor vehicle policies. First, ang comprehensive policy, which is ang policy na it covers more risks compared to the compulsory third-party liability insurance na it covers death and bodily injuries of third parties. So ato lang hinumduman nga ang kaning compulsory third-party liability insurance is mandatory. It is compulsory under the law. So katong mga magparehistro, magpa-renew silang registration is required to obtain the compulsory third-party liability insurance. What are the risks covered by comprehensive car policy?
Okay. Before we discuss the perils covered by a comprehensive policy, we have to first clear the common misnomer that we have with comprehensive policy. It's not basically all risk motor vehicle policy.
There are
Despite the comprehensive
despite the
term that it has, it's not all risk. Because based from the standard motor insurance policies that we have four perils that being covered. First is the accidental collision or overturning or collision or overturning consequent upon wear and tear or machine breakdown, malicious act,
Okay.
Lightning, burglary, theft, external explosion, and then last is while the vehicle is in transit, while being loaded or unloaded, either in inland waterway.
So, in case na mangyari yung mga na-mention nyo na perils, so may makukuha yung car owner may makukuha na proceeds.
Yes. Basically, if the cause of the loss or damage on the vehicle arose from those covered perils, then generally the claim will be compensated by the insured.
Okay. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na approximate cost kanina.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but since dalawang types ito, comprehensive and compulsory, pwede naman pong pagsabayin, di ba?
Yes, ma'am. Kasi what we have in a motor insurance policies are basically four basic sections. Sections 1 and 2 will cover for the CTPL requirement, whereas sections 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 will answer for the comprehensive insurance policy.
Okay.
so that for car owners na if you want your cars or yourselves to be more protected, if you could just avail of comprehensive policy aside from the mandatory compulsory third-party liability insurance. But before that, attorney, I would like to ask, itong third-party liability, what do you mean by third-party? Who are covered as third parties?
The definition of third-party would cover under the insurance code any person not considered as passenger, which is a fare-paying persons, not a member of the family of the insured, not an employee of the insured.
How about a member of a household?
A member of the household will also will not fall under the definition of third party, and the member of the family should the exception for the member of the family is that they are within the second degree of consanguinity or affinity, meaning by relation by blood or sa kasal.
So if cousin ko, yung first degree cousin ko yung
Nasagasaan.
Nasagasa.
Hindi, kunwari, yung first degree cousin mo yung kasama mo sa sasakyan mo. So mag-a-answer ngayon, magfo-fall siya under the definition of a third party because first cousin
It's a
would falls within the fourth degree of consanguinity.
Okay. So, ano po yung essence nitong compulsory third-party liability? Bakit po mandated and required ito by law?
Okay. Basically, the operation of a motor vehicle would necessarily cause injury.
Correct.
To
Parang hindi po na maiwas.
It's either
Oo.
the third party within the vehicle or third party walking down the streets or anywhere. So basically, what the law wants is to provide coverage on the part of those third parties that would either die or suffer any bodily injury arising from the operation of the motor vehicle of an insured.
Okay, so parang protection siya sa public
Yes, ma'am.
in cases of road accidents caused by motor vehicles.
Yes, ma'am.
So, let's proceed to the parts of a motor insurance policy. So, di ba po, ang motor vehicle, pag, example, yung car na yon is registered and then it has compulsory third-party liability insurance. But then, it is driven by a person who is not the owner of that car. So, may claims pa po ba na makukuha from the CPTL?
Our motor policy provides for the authorized driver clause, meaning who are those authorized? First, the insured himself, or second, any person being ordered or permitted to operate such motor vehicle by the insured.
Okay.
But there's a provision which requires that they must be holders of a valid license duly issued by our LTO.
Okay, so authorized driver, pwede siyang driver na authorized ng owner.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yung car, in case po na nakarnap siya, and then it met an accident, so parang may makukuha ba na proceeds doon? Or may claim ba against the policy po?
First, we have to still take into consideration the authorized driver clause, whether the license merely expired or he's not a holder of a license.
Okay.
Because if the license of the driver so authorized merely expired, then sections 1 and 2, meaning the liability to the public, which is the third party liability, the no fault indemnity clause will still be covered. But insofar as loss or damage, extended third party property insurance, the authorized driver clause will now take into force, meaning if the driver so authorized is not holder of a valid license, or his or her license has already expired while operating the vehicle, then the claim would be denied by the insurance company since he is not considered as an authorized driver under the policy.
And then there are limitations of the use under the parts of a motor insurance policy. So what are the limitations?
So basically, the limitations of the use is as to use of a motor vehicle insurance is that it should be used for domestic, social, or for the profession or business of the insured. It will not cover for the use of the vehicle for the transport of passengers, for, let's say, for racing, for hauling of goods, hauling of logs, and the likes. Those will basically make the policy not answerable if a loss or damage will arise from the operation of the vehicle and which does not fall under the limitations to use of a motor vehicle policy.
So if yung motor vehicle is only for passengers for to transport them to their distance, to where they're supposed to go, should not use the car for putting in like goods, as you said,
Yes.
or for racing, because well, that won't be covered with the
Because
insurance policy.
basically the risk of the motor vehicle being exposed to the perils being insured against would be higher as compared to the regular use of the motor vehicle.
Yes. So, attorney, sa insurance policy may nakalagay doon na no fault indemnity clause. Ano po yung no fault indemnity?
This is under the section 2 of the motor vehicle policy, wherein whenever accident happens, the third party is supposed to be provided financial assistance. But that's why it is termed as no fault indemnity, because regardless of the party at fault, the third party would be compensated or be provided in an initial financial assistance in the amount of 15,000 pesos.
Is that the maximum na
That's the maximum.
15,000?
Yes, ma'am. And then, so the rule for that is, if the third party is the insured vehicle where the third party is mounting, dismounting, or riding, then that the insurance of that motor vehicle will answer for the no-fault indemnity. Whereas for the innocent bystanders, whoever hit them, whatever vehicle hit them, will the no-fault indemnity of that particular motor vehicle will answer for that.
Okay, so to claim po the 15,000 pesos, may kailangan po ba na proof of loss?
Yes, ma'am. Our insurance code requires that there should be police report, medical report, or death certificate or other form of proof that would establish the payee.
Yung cars, usually mag-depreciate yan kasi it gets old.
Yes,
as time goes by. So if may difference ba if like the car was damaged within 1 year from being bought, newly bought, and from the time na 5 years from the time after it was bought? Is there like a difference there in the claiming of their insurance proceeds, if ever, like that?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever the depreciation provision of a motor vehicle insurance is made to answer, the age of the vehicle plays a vital role. If it's 3 years or less, then the insured will have no contribution. Whereas as it gets older, the contribution of the insured will be bigger. Because basically, if whenever there are damages on the insured vehicle and it has to be replaced with a new one, then basically the old for new part.
Yes.
So there's a difference. So whatever depreciation rate is provided under the policy, the insured will share with the cost on the part of in replacing the damaged part.
Okay.
But we have to clarify that the depreciation cost will only be applicable in case of damage to the motor vehicle, meaning there is a replacement to be done. In case of total loss, the depreciation will not be
Because
applicable.
it's
It's
the
a totally
whole vehicle.
different matter.
So depreciation only applies when it's not a total loss of your vehicle if only parts of your vehicle are damaged. So we'll continue this discussion. We will take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Partners in Law. Previously, we talked about depreciation, where depreciation will not apply when there is a total loss or damage to your property or your car. So we will proceed with our next topic.
Yeah. On deductible po. Ano yung mga deductible from the insurance?
Basically, the term deductible is otherwise known as the participation. It is the amount shouldered by the insured whenever there are claims. So basically, what's the purpose of this participation or deductible? To discourage petty claims and to make the insured more diligent in operating his or her motor vehicle.
Okay, so in layman's term po, hindi lang yung insurance company yung nagbabayad, may share din
Yes.
yung insured para para mas diligent siya sa
Yes.
pagbabantay sa kanyang motor vehicle.
Kasi otherwise, ang mangyayari na lang is yung
Pabayad.
moral hazard ng insured is tataas. So, magiging reckless driver na lang siya ngayon. So, kahit paano na
Bahala
lang siya
na yung
mag-drive,
insurance company mo
may
babayad.
insurance naman siya.
Okay. So, ano po yung methods of indemnity?
So, we have three methods of indemnifying the insured whenever there is damage or loss. First, they can replace the damaged part or replace the vehicle. They could pay in cash, or they could restore the vehicle so damaged.
So, the option po is with, sino yung pipili?
The option is on the part of the insurer.
Insurer. Okay. So, pwede niyang i-replace yung damage or magbabayad
Or
ang insurance company or
i-restore.
i-restore niya yung
And then, insofar as payment of in case of total loss, we have to point out that the basis of payment is not the insured value as specified in the schedule of the motor insurance policy. The basis of payment for total loss would be the current fair market value of the vehicle, because we have to consider that at the time of the insurance policy was procured, the value was higher.
Yes.
So as it aged, so the depreciation will now take into effect.
yung current market value yung basis.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's go to the exceptions. Ano po yung general exceptions?
So basically, the general exceptions are if there was a violation as to the limitation of the use, if the damage or loss was arose from the malicious act of the insured, acts of nature or acts of God as we commonly know.
Ano po yung acts of God or acts of nature, attorney?
Basically, ang acts of God these are the force majeure things or occurrence that happen.
Unforeseeable
Just like
events.
flood, earthquake, typhoon. So basically, any damage or loss arising from the acts of God or acts of nature will not be compensable. However, that can be bought back through the form of an endorsement. So basically, the insured would need to shell out additional amount for the coverage of acts of God or acts of nature.
So, another exception po. Drunken driver clause?
Basically,
Drunken
the drunken driver clause is that the insurance policy would not be answerable whenever there are loss or damages that will occur arising from the operation of the motor vehicle if the person so driving it
Drunk.
is under the influence of
Of course.
alcohol.
Of course, kasi kasalanan niya. Okay, and then part of a motor insurance policy also we have this excess liability insurance. Ano po yan, attorney?
The excess liability insurance can be found under Section 4 of the motor insurance policy. The first excess liability insurance will answer for the excess third-party liability bodily injury, meaning whatever the excess from the liability in Section 1 will answer, that Section 4.1 will answer. But we have to note that there is a limit. Some companies who offer a maximum amount of 500,000, some offer 1 million. So that basically that's the limit of liability. The limit of liability will also be applicable insofar as the excess party third party property damage. So because what the CTPL merely requires is the coverage for death or bodily injury. It does not cover damages caused to third-party properties. So the Section 4 will answer for that. So basically, whatever damage caused to the property of the third party.
Can help. Okay, so I have a question, attorney. If I decide to cancel on my motor vehicle insurance policy, can I do it? Can I cancel it anytime? And can I get a refund for that? Get a refund of the premium that I paid?
Generally, both parties could cancel the policy. So whenever the policy is canceled, we have this short period rate scale being used as basis to determine the amount which the insurer should return to the insured. So as the expiration of the policy nears, the lesser the amount the insured gets. And then we also have to note that if a claim has already been made pursuant to the insurance policy, then the short period rate scale would not be applicable anymore.
You cannot get a refund.
Yes,
anymore.
because they already availed of the benefits of the insurance policy.
And it's understandable also if you go as your insurance policy is almost at its end, you get lesser refund because you did use that whole...
Because it was already exposed for such length of time.
So let's go now to how do you claim... What is the procedure, attorney, in event that you want to claim proceeds from your insurance policy?
Okay. Whenever a damage or loss occurs, what the code merely requires is that it should be made, the claim should be notified to the insurer as soon as possible. So the term as soon as possible is a bit subjective.
What's the
Because
maximum time you have
basically
experience?
there is no hard and fast rule insofar as the term as soon as possible. But basically, we have to take into consideration that why the code requires that the claim be made as soon as possible so that insurers, for their part, will be able to ascertain the amount of loss and to verify whether the loss or damage caused to the insured vehicle is indeed compensable or not. Because if we would take too long to file a claim, then perhaps the pieces of evidence that we need to check or determine for purposes of the compensability of the claim could have gone by that time.
for you, attorney, since you work in the insurance commission, what do you think is like a reasonable time?
Basically, since I've mentioned a while ago that there is no
Yes.
hard and fast rule, but insofar as the Supreme Court decisions are concerned, reasonable period means, let's say, 6 months.
So within 6 months.
But it's better to be
It's either
earlier.
too
yes.
long or too short
it still
insofar as an
depends on
insurance claim is
case-to-case
concerned.
basis.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a case-to-case
Okay.
basis. So in the events of a claim, so dapat lang talagang i-remember ng mga tao is that it should be filed as soon as possible. Kasi i-evaluate din yun ng insurance
Yes.
company kung compensable ba or hindi. Or magkano ang kanilang ibibigay.
Ang term dyan sa insurance parlance is adjustment.
Adjustment.
They investigate, they verify the veracity of the claim.
Okay.
So if they will claim na yung insurance proceeds, ano po yung mga documents na kailangan po nila?
Basically, the basic requirements that insurers would require are the insurance policy, the ORCR
First and
of the motor vehicle, police report, an affidavit of the insured, as well as the third party, the birth certificate, death certificate, just to establish the proper payee, among other things.
Is there a list, attorney, na they can find so that ready na yung documents when they...
Perhaps what I could recommend among to our televiewers is that they could also check the website of the Philippine Reinsurers Association. Basically, this is the organization of all non-life insurance providers in the Philippines. So they have a few frequently asked questions therein. They also have the documents that would be required by the insurance company in filing a claim.
Christie, do you have any questions?
So, may narinig po ako tungkol sa mediation po before the insurance commission. So, kailan kailangan ang mediation or kailan ba ito papasok?
Basically, the insurance commission, through its public assistance and mediation division, provides assistance to insurance claimants whenever their claims are being denied by insurance companies. They could go to the insurance commission, seek assistance. Through that process, the insurance commission will notify the insurance company being complained of, and then we will as much as possible, try to let the parties enter into an amicable settlement.
Okay. So, ito po yung nangyayari kung yung insurance company dinideny yung claim. So,
Yes,
they don't need to go directly to courts po. Parang they should go first to the insurance commission.
Basically, that's the
Procedure po.
preparatory action. Because no matter how the insurance commission tries its best to have an amicable settlement between the parties, there will always be a time that either the insured or the insurer would not be able to agree into a definite settlement.
Oh, correct.
So if that happens, the insured will have the right to either file the claim before the insurance commission, because the insurance commission has its claims adjudication division handling insurance claims, or with the regular courts. But insofar as the insurance commission is concerned, we have to note that we only have a jurisdictional limit of 5 million pesos. So
5 million pesos or less.
yes. So if ever the amount of claim exceeds 5 million pesos, then they need to file it with the regular courts.
So, question po, para masasabi po ba na condition precedent yung mediation before the insurance commission or hindi?
Insofar as the rules in our claims adjudication is concerned, the process of going through the mediation in the insurance commission is a requirement, because one of the requirements in filing a claims case before our division is that they have to certify that there is no pending mediation conference in our public assistance and mediation division.
Okay, so since na-mention natin yung insurance commission,
yes.
Ano po yung functions ng insurance commission?
Okay. Basically, the insurance commission, by virtue of the amended insurance code under the Republic Act 10607, is empowered to supervise and regulate all insurance companies operating in the Philippines. So it has four major functional groups, which are the legal services group, which I am under, the management support and service group, the financial examination group, and the technical services group. Each service groups has their own different functions. Insofar as the MSSG is concerned, they are in charge with the day-to-day affairs of the insurance commission. They provide technical support to the personnel. Insofar, the technical service group takes care of the monitoring of the rates being implemented, because there are several insurance products wherein there is a rate that need to be observed. This is called tariff. So they have tarified products which insurance companies need to observe. They cannot go over it. The one of the division falling under technical services group also handles the approval of life insurance policies. The TSG also prepares the statistical reports or data in order to monitor the performance of the insurance industry. With regard to the financial examination group, they see to it that the companies are in sound financial condition, set compliance with the whatever is required by this code.
There's so many divisions in the Insurance Commission, and we've learned a lot from Attorney Brian Gale, Sibuyan. Thank you so much for coming here. It's a pleasure to have you tonight,
Thank you
Attorney.
for having me as well.
Yes, thank you also. To our viewers, thank you for always tuning in to the show, and amo jud pinangkamutan nga na every week mas ma-interesting among discussion. And we'd also like to thank Attorney Margarita Yu, our Celia president. We also want to thank the staff of CCTN. Thank you very much for your hard work. Thank you also to the management of CCTN 47 channel. And I'd like to shout out to Attorney Girls Group Chat and Angels Group Chat. And thank you also for Attorney Christie Marie Alga.
Okay. Thank you very much, Attorney, for
Thank
coming.
you for having us.
Thank you very much. And thank you also to the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association, the CCTN management, our makeup artist, Freddie, and our Attorney Kim, thank you.
Thank you.
Our televiewers, thank you for staying with us. And I am Attorney Christie Marie Alga. See you next week, and have a wonderful week ahead of you.